is education abroad?
It's about understanding and developing languages, enhancing one's intercultural competency, and so on. I also believe that students in a state like Kentucky, where, where many of our students are first generation students, may come from more modest backgrounds and so forth, that education abroad can impact social mobility. That students who study abroad are generally good students and they become quite successful in their careers and further studies. And I'm hoping that will further enhance and social mobility throughout the Commonwealth.
What is your opinion on the cost of education abroad?
So education abroad doesn't have to be too expensive. And I think that's a myth that I often hear. If you go on an exchange program, for example, whatever you're paying right now, that's what you pay. And then on top of that, we have scholarships.
And I was probably the most concerned with the financial situation.
I thought that came along was, will I be able to afford it?
Let's hear from students who have studied abroad and had concerns about financials.
A lot of students will think that studying abroad is out of their reach as far as the cost goes.
On where you go really affects the costs of the program, depending on how long you stay, which location you choose, which airline you choose to take, and your personal expenses. I also think, like she said, it's very approachable just because there are so many scholarship opportunities. Like for mine, I basically had an all-paid trip, or an all-paid education abroad experience because I ended up receiving a lot of scholarships to help out.
So depending on what program type you do, how long you go, and which program that you do, depending on the third party organization that you study abroad with, I feel like that has influential factors to whether you will receive scholarships or not. How well-rounded you are as a student, what activities you're involved in on campus and outside of campus, such as volunteer work and extracurriculars. Especially the essay though, because that, represents the whole embodiment of why you want to study abroad, especially for the education abroad scholarship.
There's not a limit on scholarships. You can only apply for one program on our database. So you can apply for multiple programs and then multiple scholarships. Just one.
You can only choose to study abroad in Australia and have an application set for Australia. You can't have an application for Australia and England at the same time, at the same semester. You can only pick one of those.
For the general UK Education Abroad Scholarship, I think last year about 40% of the students who applied received some sort of aid. Now that's just one scholarship out of many out there, so the university has that general pot of money for education abroad scholarships, but they also have departmental scholarships. There are scholarships for first generation college students, and then there are national scholarships such as the Gilman for Pell Grant students. There is the Boren Scholarship for students looking to study some languages. There are scholarships for engineers, students in the STEM fields, what have you. And then a lot of the organizations that we work with provide scholarships as well. So depending on what program you're doing, it just sort of depends.